Hi, my name is Miriam Hussey, and in today's video we're going to explore the topic or the theme of mental fitness and how we can build it into our everyday lives. So for many of us, when we think about health and well-being, we often think about physical fitness and we think about our physical well-being, which is really, really important. But how many of us actually think about developing mental fitness? Or how do we go about on our day-to-day, everyday lives developing more clarity in the mind, more space in the mind, and more fitness of the mind? So this is what we're going to explore in today's video. So my background is in pharmacy, and I spent many years studying the physical body. And in college we would look at, cadavers, which are dead bodies, and you'd open them up and look at the anatomy and the physiology, which of course is very, very important. However, for me, it really, I suppose, my realization, I used to ask certain questions, and really what triggered my imagination was the deeper question that when you look at a dead body and you study it, you realize there's no life there. So there's no energy there, there's no thoughts there, there's no emotion there, there's no spirit there. And I suppose I've always been fascinated with the mind-body connection and how truly connected and interlinked that they are. So with my extended learning, knowledge and studying, I've really become fascinated by this whole mind-body connection and the power of the mind and the power of developing mental fitness and how it really accelerates us in our life and allows us to live a life of more vitality and a life of more inner ease and calm. So I think a typical example is I've looked at a lot of Dr. Bruce Lipton's work, and he has a book called The Biology of Belief. And in this book, he states that our thoughts become our internal chemistry. And really, what does he mean by that? I'm going to say that again. Our thoughts can become our internal chemistry. And really what he's saying here or explaining is that if you can imagine that every single cell in your body has a pair of ears, and every single cell is receptive. So it can almost hear every thought that you think, and it can feel every emotion that you feel. And each cell will then react and respond or switch on or switch off according to these signals that they've been sent from your thoughts and your emotions. If you can imagine every morning when you wake up, what are your first thoughts? When the alarm goes off, what do you think about? Do you think positively or in a nourishing way? Or do you have a tendency to give out and blame and go into almost like a stress state? So thoughts like, oh no, it's another day, or oh my God, it's such and such a time, or oh my God, the traffic's going to be heavy today, or oh my God, I have so much to do, and all of these, to-do lists and almost stressors start to flood your brain and flood your thinking brain. If that is the case, you can imagine every single day that your cells are picking up on this energy. And believe it or not, every thought, every feeling, every word that we use, so language is so important, carries a vibrational frequency. And our cells will react to that frequency or that energy. On the flip side of that, if we can start to manage or become more aware of our thoughts, more aware of the language, more aware of the way we're communicating to ourselves, we can change this, and therefore we can change the chemistry, the biology. We can change the activation or deactivation of the cells, which really is powerful and really empowering for us and our health and our well-being. So if we think more compassionately, if we send more love to the body, if we're kinder to ourselves, so instead of waking up in the morning and giving out, if we take a couple of moments and just be grateful. What am I grateful for? I'm grateful for my heart is beating. I am alive. I'm grateful for my lungs that I can breathe. I'm grateful for my bed. I'm grateful for this house. I'm grateful for food in my fridge. I have hot water to have a shower. This will start to change the electrical frequency and the vibrancy and the vibration of your cells. And it's almost like your cells, as I said earlier, they can pick up on this frequency and they react and respond. So if your cells are reacting and responding to toxic energy, toxic thoughts every day, all day, the cells will almost become toxic and we can create more disease in the body. So it's almost like they can stick together and nearly congeal and become inflamed. And the root of most illnesses is inflammation. On the flip side of that, if we have more ease in our thoughts through the words that we use, the language, the stories that we tell ourselves, the feelings that we feel, the more that the cells pick up on this energy. And our internal chemistry can actually become a place of more ease and less dis-ease. So I think it's just important to explain that. And a very simple example of this is, some people will say to me, oh, I don't really get that, Miriam, can you explain that? Or that's not for me. A very simple way of explaining this is of this mind-body connection, how our thoughts actually can physically change our body. Say, for example, if you are sad and something happens in your life and you feel sad. So you are sad, which is a feeling. You think a thought of, I am sad. So you have a thought or a feeling, which is of sadness. As a result of this, your body can actually start to produce tears and you cry. So as a result of a thought or a feeling, you actually now have physically produced tears in the body. Another simple example is if you're embarrassed. So something happens to you and you go on stage and you fall off and you get really, really embarrassed. So again, this is a feeling. I feel embarrassed. I feel ashamed. Oh my God, people are looking at me. And what can happen? You'll go bright red in the face. So literally the blood vessels will dilate in your face and you'll go bright red. So this again, another very simple example of how our feelings and our thoughts physically have a reaction on the body. So we can't deny the connection. So now that we know the importance of it, what can we do to build mental fitness? Okay, so it's very, very simple. And the most important and simple ways to do this are things like meditation, visualization, understanding and becoming more aware of your self-talk and the stories you're telling yourself. Bringing in things like reset triggers and routines into your daily life. Looking at things like obviously your food, hydration. All of these have a massive impact. The immunity or your gut health, how that affects our thoughts and how that affects our mental health and our mood. Hugely important also. And also looking at things like, building and developing a more loving, internal, harmonious relationship with yourself. These are all very simple ways that we can start to develop mental fitness. I'm just going to go into each of those very, very simply today. So the first one was meditation. We all have probably heard of, maybe practiced, or hopefully at this stage in the program, whether you're at the start or end, that you have listened to some of my meditations. And just noticing how you feel after you do a meditation. It's an incredible way of clearing the mind, calming the mind, of dialing down all of the noise. So what can happen is we can get almost just so blocked in our head through, too many to-do lists, too many stressors pulling at us, listening to everybody else's thoughts, opinions and judgments. And often this noise is just causing our head to be bombarded all the time. So when we meditate, it just helps to dial down that noise. It helps to clear out the mind. And when we clear out the mind and dial down the noise, we can then think more clearly. We can act better under pressure. We perform better. We're more calm. We're more compassionate to others and ourselves. And it just really can shift our perspective in life. So meditation is a really, really powerful way of developing our mental fitness. Second way is visualization. Again, visualization, you'll get to practice it during this course. You'll get to listen to some of my visualizations. Visualization is really, really powerful way of actually retraining and rewiring our brain. So it's called neuroplasticity. And visualization is really starting to imagine or see yourself living, working, acting in a certain way. And the more that you practice this and the more that you mentally visualize something, so you see it happening, you almost believe it has happened before it has happened. And you emotionally get yourself into a stage where you can feel that. So when you have a visualization and you meet that with an elevated emotion, so you feel it already. So for example, you're on a beach and you're sensing the waves, you're feeling the sun on your skin, you're just taking in the serenity and the beauty. And all of a sudden you're feeling all of this. You feel the heat, you feel the calm. So when you have that elevated emotion with that mental picture, what you start to do is a thing called neuroplasticity. You rewire the brain because you send an electric signal in the brain. And the more that you replay this image is the more that this electrical signal gets wrapped in a thing called myelin, which is almost like insulation. And this new electrical signal, this new pathway grows and grows and grows and gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And the thicker it gets is the more it becomes reality in your life. So very simple visualization. What I love to do in the morning is, even before you get out of bed, give yourself, even if it's just 30 seconds to a minute, and just place your hands on your heart, close down the eyes, and just visualize how you'd like to see yourself living this day. So today is a new day I've never lived before. Visualize the person you want to be. Visualize how you want to communicate with people. Visualize your energy. Visualize how you walk. Visualize what you wear. Visualize what you eat. Visualize what you drink. Visualize yourself being calm, being grounded, being centered. Visualize yourself smiling, laughing. Whatever it is for you, visualize it in the morning. And it's simple, 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 but it is very, very powerful and effective for building this mental fitness. The next area we're going to look at is the self-talk, or the stories we tell ourselves. So this is every day we're telling ourselves a certain story. We're either externally communicating it to others. Oh, I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. I don't know if I can do that. The traffic is bad. Making excuses, X, Y, and Z. Or we're internally telling ourselves something. And often the stories, or the way that we communicate to ourselves, I often ask people, would you speak or talk to somebody else in that way? And oftentimes we would never speak to a loved one in the same way that we speak to ourselves. Why do we allow ourselves or give ourselves permission to be so hard on ourselves, to be critical, to self-sabotage ourselves, when we would never do that to a loved one? And this is why building this internal self-love, or this harmonious relationship with yourself, is really the key to everything. The kinder we can be to ourselves is the more nourishing we can be to others around us. So be mindful of the stories you tell yourself, be mindful of the way you communicate to yourself, the languages that you use and the words that you use. So instead of saying busy, oh, life is busy, it's so busy, things are up the walls, it's chaos, it's madness, cut out the word. I've cut out busyness from my diary because it automatically donates stress. The minute you say busy, your nervous system just goes, woo, it almost gets wired up. So I remove the word busy from my vocabulary. And instead I like to say, today has been a productive day. So whatever words you are using, tune into them and see how are they dialing up your nervous system or dialing it down. Are they nourishing words or are they toxic words? And see if you can pull them out, almost banish them from your diary, and bring in new words that are going to serve you better. Other ways to develop mental fitness are bringing in what I call reset or re-triggering or recentering routines. Our brain likes to work in approximately 90-minute cycles. So every 90 minutes we should be really resetting, re-triggering, refocusing what we're doing. So if you're at your desk, after 90 minutes, set a little alarm on your clock or your phone or your laptop and just get up from the desk. Maybe take a stretch, shake things out, get a glass of water, go to the bathroom, go outside, walk around your house or your office block or wherever you are, and just reset, refocus, re-trigger and realign basically. So when you go back to your desk or back to your office or back to playing with the kids or whatever it is you're doing, you're coming in much fresher. Because after 90 minutes, the brain just starts to go on negative return and you just start to slow down and you can't think as clearly. So bring in these routines. Breathing is another way of simply resetting, refocusing your mind, your body, as well as the soul. And lastly, I won't go into this one in too much detail because I have a specific module or series in this program on it, but also looking at our hydration. Hydration is very, very important for mental clarity. So making sure that you're adequately hydrated. Check in on the video on hydration for more on this. And also looking at our food, our nutrition, and the importance of fueling our mind for enhanced mental fitness, mental clarity, performance. So again, tune into the video on nutrition and also the one on gut health for more information on how we can help keep our gut healthy, which will also help to keep our mind healthy. Thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this video today. I will accompany an ebook with this and I will put down some resources for you so that you can try to practice and implement this mental fitness into your own daily life on a daily basis. A very simple way of doing this is also to practice developing both right and left side of the brain. So our right side of the brain is directly affected to the left side of the body, and the left side to the right side of the body. So believe it or not, and I've studied this in yoga as well, and I bring it into my everyday life as much as I can, is that the right side of the body is very much the creative, or the right side of the brain is the creative brain. So how can we develop that more? And it's the yin. So it's reflective in the left side of the body. So how do we develop that? So trying to practice things that increase and express your creativity. So whether that's baking, singing, dancing, painting, drawing, gardening, whatever it is, just whatever allows you to get creative. And just prioritizing that, because that will help to enhance and grow that side of the brain. And then the opposite side of the brain, left side of the brain is reflective on the right side of the body. And again, this is the more analytical side. This is the thinking brain. This is the kind of more science, the mathsy, the analytical brain. So doing things that help to grow that side of the brain are also just as important. So things like, doing crosswords, puzzles, doing anything that makes you think. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to grow both sides of the body, the yin and the yang, the male and the female, and also try to balance that so that we can have a balanced central nervous system as well. So I'll leave you with that today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please do the exercises and reflections that accompany this video. Do the visualization that accompanies this video. And I really hope that we can start to prioritize more mental fitness into our everyday life, knowing the value of it, not just on our mind and our mood, but also on the importance of the physical body as well. Thank you very much.